inflation and just rising prices. Many people kind of mistakenly think that inflation is just when the price of something goes up. But like we said, it's actually the rate at what the price is increased themselves. So again, another example. If one year your gallon of milk costs $3.50, but the next year it costs $3.75, this is a price increase, but it's just that one product. If bread and eggs and dish soap are all relatively the same, you're just seeing an increase in the cost of milk, not all of the goods. But inflation measures how much prices in general have gone up across the entire economy and not just on a single product. So, example, if the cost of your milk went up to $3.75 and the bread went up to $4 and the eggs went up to $18 for 18 like they are where I live, and then you also see that the gas to get to the grocery store costs more money, the rent that you pay to store the food in the home that you live in has also gone up, and then everything happens to just be 3% more expensive across the board, well, then that would be inflation. An inflation of 3%. Everything across the board over a period of quantifiable time, or time you can measure, has increased everything. That's why when we talk about inflation, and we take it so seriously, because we're not just talking about a short-term effect of your inability to get one kind of good. We're talking about your inability to afford everything. The general idea is that inflation is the percentage increase in the cost of living over time. So if prices rise a little bit in some areas and a lot in others, inflation is still looking at how much the overall cost of everything is going up. So again, this is why it's not just about, oh, you live in a very expensive city and I don't, or you should have made better choices about where you choose to live and work. Inflation impacts everyone. This is not related to your regional cost of living. Yes, if you live in New York or LA, you're probably going to pay more for goods than you live in a small rural town in the Midwest. But when the prices have gone up for everyone across all of those locations, that is inflation. So why does this happen? It doesn't just happen for one reason. It can happen when there's more money in the economy, which means people can buy more, or when there's a shortage of goods or services, which means companies can then charge more. It can happen when demand outstrips supply. People want more of something than is available, so they jack up the price. If you've ever tried to get on a waiting list for a sold-out good, likely you are looking at demand outstripping supply. Additionally, what we're going to see a lot of is those higher production costs. If it costs a company more money to make something because of wages, fuel, raw materials, or tariffs, they will raise prices to cover those costs. This is called cost push inflation.